Let's speak about the importance of you overcoming the past, of you not continuing the past in your life, but to use it at your favor. Don't continue the past. Take note of this, please. Don't continue the past, but use it for the change of your life. What does it mean? Don't continue the past, but to use it. We should only continue the past that is behind us if it has been working. This is common sense. If you have been following something in your life and that has been working, I'm talking about love life. Your marriage has been working well. If today you are better than yesterday, than 5, 10 years ago, then continue on this path that is working. Continue this past because it's working. But when you have behind you a past that clearly does not work, and the proof of that is your present, a past that results on you being in bad terms with each other, you who are single, becoming someone traumatized, afraid on starting a new relationship, someone who is bitter, who speaks ill of everyone, especially the opposite sex. Men wants this, women wants that. If your past makes your present bitter and unhappy present in love, so clearly you must look back and learn what you should no longer do. Because what you've been doing, where you've been coming from, is taking you where you don't want to go. So you must learn that you should not continue this past, but to learn the past to change your present and future. God says this in His Word. Look what He says in Haggai. He said, "Now therefore, thus says the Lord of hosts, consider," in other words, evaluate, weigh it down, consider your ways. In other words, your past. Where are you coming from? The path you've been tracing so far. Consider your ways. You have sown much and bring in little. See that God calls us to observe our past and its effect on what we've done back then in the past. You have sown much, but what has been the result? Little. What has been the fruit of your marriage, of your love life currently? What have you been reaping? Many of you are reaping, for instance, a cold marriage, coldness. Perhaps you don't even have respect for each other anymore. Swear words, harsh words, sarcastic words that are exchanged between the both of you. Do whatever you want. I don't know why you ask me, because what I say, it doesn't count. And things along these lines. Bad example before the children. Perhaps a marriage that you don't remember the last time you had intimacy, you had sex. And perhaps the last time you had to implore your husband, your wife, for it to happen. A marriage that you don't trust what the other says. You don't trust. At times the person says, and you think, is that true? You need to find out if what the person is saying and you learn that it was not true. In other words, insecurity, you look at the future and you don't see yourself with that person. You have been planning a future without them. Because how things are going, you won't be together for long. Maybe you've been seeing this present that is a result of what you've been doing so far. And many singles also carry this mark of the past, saying, I don't believe in anyone else, I think I want to be alone, I was not lucky in love, I suffered a trauma, I'm a single mother who want me with these children, I'm a divorced person, I'm over 40, 50. Is there a way out for me? You are looking at your present, and today you are saying, that's not what I want. But God calls you to the advice, consider your ways. In other words, think about your past. Weigh your past down, what you have been doing, and the harvest so far.
And God tells us to consider our ways. Because normally, when you go through a problem, you consider the mistake of the other. So many people think like this. I am on this situation because you know how it is, right? I didn't have any reference in my family. I got married with someone that was not nice towards me. I believed on that person. And many times you even can say, I have learned a lot with my past. But what did you learn? Because if you learned the other's mistakes, it won't solve any problem to you because the mistake was on the other. But you have to stop and think, where did you commit the mistake? Consider your ways. How did you get to the point? And we only solve our problems when we start to look within ourselves and to realize where we are committing the mistakes. Because people easily see the other's mistake. For example, singles, they say, I don't want to get married anymore. I don't want to get involved with anyone else anymore. But they don't stop to evaluate. You suffered because when you entered to this relationship, did you know the person well? You knew the person, and 2 weeks later, you started to live with that person. You gave your heart without knowing who that person was. If the person was willing to be in a relationship, you simply gave yourself. The other person didn't want as much as you, didn't like you as much as you liked them, and everything went wrong. The other person wanted to live a singlehood life, and you started to think, you see what? The relationship didn't work. But you didn't stop to think, I was too intense. I gave too much of myself to someone that I didn't know. I didn't value myself. I didn't evaluate the situation. So God is asking us for us to consider our ways. Look at you. Look at you. Look where you are walking. Look at the decisions that you are making.
Yes, where you are going to. When God says, consider your ways, as Christiane said, it's not you looking at the other's mistakes, but yours. The other has mistakes, but look at your mistakes and your ways and see the result. Make an evaluation. Remember, intelligent love, the love that thinks. It's not the love that feels, a love that thinks. What the result has been of what I've been doing. It's a matter of intelligence. You disregard your marriage, your wife. What do you think she will become? She will become this person that before your eyes is annoying, needy, someone who you don't want to be close to, and where your eyes will turn to other women. Because you will think that the problem is in your wife, but the problem is in you. That she has problems, yes, but you also is to be blamed because you haven't been looking at your marriage. Your negligence, your disregard your way of behaving before your marriage, thinking that your wife needs to be perfect without you doing anything, just bringing food to the house, this way of yours is not working. You need to wake up to this. You look at your qualities that certainly you have, but you don't look where you are failing. You don't consider that what you are doing is also contributing to the problem. Therefore, when you consider your ways and you have just a little humbleness to recognize your mistakes, then God will show you. When you are humble, when you stop denying. I failed in my marriage. One thing that I failed in my marriage for 12 years is that she would bring the problems to me. She would bring the complaints to me about the relationship, and I would disregard her complaints as if they were childish, coming from someone who was spoiled, someone who was complaining for no reason. And I would articulate with my words, I'll make her feel bad for her complaints, and I will finish my arguments saying, listen, solve this problem with yourself because I have to work and do more important things. And that's how I got by with my marriage until she asked for divorce. Until she said, I can't handle this anymore. Then I started to see that what I was doing was not working and that I had to find another way. And this is what God says in this passage. God is telling the people, if you read the whole chapter, God is saying the following in this passage. Do you know why you have been sowing much and bringing in little? Because you have been selfish. You have been only looking after your own lives, your own homes, and you have been forgetting me, leaving me to the side. So the reason that they were suffering, doing a lot of effort for little result, was because they were being selfish, looking at themselves, which is usually what kills the marriage. Selfishness is what kills the marriage, is what makes the marriage to shrink. Each is only concerned with their own interests and not the others. They only think about themselves and they are not concerned with the other. So you must understand that God is calling us to look at our past, to consider the past, and make a decision. Either we will insist on the pride and keep going down to rock bottom with our chest puffed up. I am proudly going down to rock bottom. Otherwise, you will keep sinking your marriage without you recognizing your mistake and only pointing out the other's mistake because he's the problem, she's the problem, and they think that everything will change if you change the partner. You think he's the problem, she's the problem, I only need to find someone different. And you find someone else and you only change problems. And you haven't learned how to solve problems because you ran away from the problem. You ran away from the first marriage. You haven't learned to solve any marital problems. You go to the next new problems. What will happen? You will go to the third until you get tired and you say, this marriage thing doesn't work. The blame will always be with the marriage. Before, the blame was on the woman, the man. Now, is with the institution marriage. Why? Because of your pride. Your pride does not allow you to see your own mistakes. In other words, you continue your past. You failed in the past, but you didn't see it. Your paths are leading you to failure and you continue in the mistake, wanting a different end, but you insist in the same path. Just because of the pride of not recognizing what I've done so far, it's not working. I need to find a new path. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.